Chaos at Stamford Bridge, Why Chelsea Must Act Now, Rosenior's Crisis in the Case for Cesc Fabregas. This examines recent events at Chelsea, the mounting pressure on Liam Rosenior after damaging home and European defeats, and the growing argument among fans and pundits that the club should replace him with Cesc Fabregas. It aims to be vivid, balanced, and engaging, exploring tactics, culture, recruitment, and the difficult realities of modern football management. Stamford Bridge in turmoil. Chelsea is a club that lives and breathes expectation. From the days of Roman Abramovich's free spending revolution to the current Blueco era, supporters have been conditioned to measure success in trophies, European nights, and perhaps most importantly, style. Yet for all the promise and pedigree of the Stamford Bridge hierarchy, the last fortnight has left a blue bruise across the club's confidence. A capitulation in the Champions League against Paris Saint-Germain, a 3-0 home defeat which sealed an 8-2 aggregate thumping, was followed by a humbling 3-0 loss at home to Everton. Overnight, questions that had been simmering became a roar. Is Liam Rosenior the right man to lead Chelsea now, or should the club act quickly and decisively? This piece explores that debate in depth. It looks at why Rosenior's position appears so precarious, what a change might realistically achieve, and why the name of Cesc Fabregas has captured the imagination of fans and pundits as a potential immediate remedy. Along the way, we'll unpack tactical flaws, recruitment issues, dressing room dynamics, and the broader pressures that come with managing one of England's biggest clubs. The Rosenior experiment: promise, process, problems. When Liam Rosenior arrived at Stamford Bridge in January to replace Enzo Maresca, many saw it as another chapter in the Premier League's trend of giving promising English coaches big opportunities. Rosenior's appointment offered continuity in some respects and a distinct, modern profile in others. A coach known for his emphasis on pressing, young player development, and a clear-sighted belief in progressive football. What the appointment promised: a fresh voice and modern ideas. Rosenior had made a name for himself as a coach who wanted to implement an aggressive, possession-oriented game fused with pressing triggers, an approach that would align with Chelsea's historic appetite for players who can both create and control. Pathways for youth. Chelsea's academy remains one of the club's most valuable assets. Rosenior's relative youth and reputation for working with younger players suggested he might bridge the off-sided gap between the academy and the first team. Financial prudence. Given the club's ongoing transformation under Blueco, hiring a domestic coach seen as cost-effective and long-term fit made operational sense. Where it has gone wrong. Inconsistent identity. Despite Rosenior's repeated claims that a pressing system was being installed, the team frequently looked neither cohesive nor recognizably disciplined under pressure. Pressing is about collective shape and triggers. When the units are misaligned, the team becomes porous rather than proactive. Defensive fragility. Chelsea's defensive structure has been alarmingly unstable. The PSG tie exposed systemic issues: wide-open spaces, poor transitional positioning, and a goalkeeper who on bad days compounds the problems rather than alleviating them. Robert Sanchez's night against PSG was a case in point. Mistakes at that level create momentum swings the opposition can exploit. Tactical naivety in big games. Against teams who were prepared and clinically ruthless, Chelsea's in-game management, substitutions, tactical tweaks, tempo control, has at times looked reactive rather than authoritative. That undermines belief in the dressing room and among supporters. Squad management and morale. Injuries, selection choices, and the integration of loaned or newly signed players have not always been handled in a way that inspires confidence. When fans leave a match booing, it's a tangible sign that trust has been eroded. The perception problem. A manager's credibility is fragile. Win, and the experiment is genius. Lose, and the label of inexperience becomes louder. Rosenior supporters can point to a short time frame and institutional constraints. His critics highlight the fact that results, particularly in Europe and against fellow top-6 teams, have not matched club ambitions. The fans, the media, and the chorus for change. The atmosphere following big defeats is predictable. Fans look for scapegoats, pundits amplify narratives, and social media and talksport become pressure amplifiers. Rory Jennings' vocal call to sack Rosenior now and bring Cesc Fabregas in is emblematic of a larger, more visceral reaction. Blues want urgency, accountability, and someone who embodies Chelsea's identity. Why voices like Jennings gain traction? Emotional resonance. Fans process disappointment with emotion. A thunderous defeat at home makes for a shorthand, "This can't continue," and media figures who reflect that mood can sway public opinion. The myth of the quick fix. High-profile names, former players, or charismatic coaches become easy focal points for rescue fantasies.
Appointing a club icon promises immediate buy-in and narrative closure. Familiarity and nostalgia. Fabregas is associated with the club's more glorious, more assured moments, calling for an ex-player who knows the club is partly a longing for a return to perceived past certainties. The Cesc Fabregas argument, romanticism and merit. Rory Jennings' plea to phone Cesc Fabregas immediately taps into an attractive story arc. A club legend returns to steady the ship. But beyond romanticism, there are substantive elements to consider. Fabregas' credentials. Managerial rise at Como. The Spaniard's work at Como has been notable. He secured promotion to Serie A and, by all reports, improved the standards and development of players around him. His tactical evolution, man management, and transition from player to coach has impressed observers. Proven pedigree as an elite player. Fabregas' playing career saw him operating at the highest levels: Arsenal, Barcelona, Chelsea, with an elite footballing brain that theoretically translates to tactical nous and player respect. Player development. A big part of Chelsea's problem is getting the best out of young, high-potential players. Fabregas, who has experience and empathy for creative midfield roles, could help nurture talent currently on Chelsea's books. The romantic case versus the realistic case. Immediate impact. Appointing a club legend lifts morale in the short term, crowns warm to familiar names and chance return. But short-term sentiment does not always deliver long-term success. The honeymoon can fade if tactical competence and results do not follow. Experience at elite level. Como is a strong step, but the Premier League and European competition are different beasts. Managing in the highly pressured environment of London, with instant media scrutiny and relentless fixture lists, is a test that many talented coaches find unforgiving. Fit with Chelsea's ownership model. Blueco weigh how a candidate fits long-term vision, player recruitment compatibility, and commercial factors. A sentimental appointment must still satisfy performance metrics, transfer strategy, and organizational alignment. Tactical considerations. What Chelsea need now. If Chelsea are to change manager mid-season, they must be clear on what they want tactically and culturally. The club's core problems suggest several urgent priorities for any incoming coach. Defensive structure and transitional order. Immediate stabilization is vital. Chelsea have to be compact in transitions, defend as a unit, and eliminate the kinds of glaring positional errors that allowed PSG and Everton to flourish. Goalkeeper certainty. The search for a dependable figure between the sticks is a priority. In high-stakes matches, a goalkeeper's confidence and command of the box can be decisive. Clear tactical identity. A cohesive pressing system or a pragmatic structure tailored to the squad. The team must either press cohesively or adopt a compact, counter-attacking model that reduces exposure. Midfield balance. Chelsea need to blend control with bite. Whether through a single holder and two creators or a rigid double pivot, the midfield must offer protection to the backline while enabling forward momentum. Player management and roles. Clear roles for the likes of Enzo Fernandez, Moises Caicedo, and other high-profile midfielders. If young attackers are to flourish, they must be given structured opportunities with defined responsibilities. Resolving uncertain performers. Some players look short on form and confidence. A strong manager must rehabilitate or sell to restore squad harmony. Youth integration with realism. The academy's talent must be integrated pragmatically. The club cannot afford reckless promotion that leaves youngsters exposed. Equally, a policy of permanent blocking undermines long-term sustainability. The risks and realities of a mid-season change. Sacking a manager mid-season is never without risk. It's an admission that the present trajectory is unacceptable, but it can also destabilize a dressing room, interrupt continuity, and set unrealistic expectations for the successor. Short-term risks. Tactical reset fatigue. Players need time to learn new systems. If replacements come with radically different philosophies, the transition can produce short-term turbulence. Transfer window constraints. A new coach may benefit from January or summer market moves. Mid-season changes leave little time to reshape the squad and their image. Long-term risks. If the new appointment proves unsuccessful, the club has burned a further spell of continuity and credibility. Chelsea's recent history already contains frequent managerial changes. Repeating that cycle risks cultural drift. Mitigating factors for Chelsea. A strong recruitment and support structure. If the club pairs a new manager with a stable sporting director and clean alignment, the transition becomes less perilous. The squad's underlying quality. Chelsea still possess talented individuals who, under the right leadership, could propel the club back into contention for the top positions. Alternatives to Rosenior, and why the club might hesitate. Beyond Cesc Fabregas, pundits have floated several credible replacements: Luis Enrique, Oliver Glasner, Felipe Luis, and others. Each brings different strengths. Luis Enrique, proven, tactically flexible, and experienced in Europeans' elite competition. He offers immediate authority, but may be unattainable or expensive. Oliver Glasner, pragmatic, defensively sound, and effective at maximizing resources, a profile that could stabilize Chelsea quickly. Felipe Luis, a lesser-known managerial prospect, but one with strong tactical ideas and a record of developing players. Why Chelsea might hesitate to act immediately. Contractual and financial considerations. Rosenior is on a multi-year deal. Terminating it has cost implications and sets a precedent. Strategic caution. Blueco may prefer to see if short-term changes, tweaks to coaching staff, adjustments in recruitment, and targeted signings can arrest the slide without a drastic upheaval. Market realities. Top managers are finite resources. The club must be sure a replacement is available, willing, and the right cultural fit. What success looks like. Benchmarks for a new manager. If Chelsea do act and appoint a new manager, success should be defined clearly and realistically. Short-term benchmarks, 3 to 6 months. Immediate defensive improvement, less goals conceded, more compact transitions, and clean sheets against peer teams. Stabilization in results, a cohesive run of points that re-anchors the team in the top 6 conversation, or at least preserves Champions League qualification ambitions. Improved dressing room atmosphere, clear leadership and renewed player engagement. Medium-term benchmarks, 6 to 18 months. Clear tactical identity and vision, a team that plays with a defined plan reflective of the manager's philosophy. Youth progression, measured integration of academy prospects into the first team, contributing meaningfully. Recruitment that fits the model, targeted signings that address key weaknesses rather than headline glamours. Long-term benchmarks, 2 to 4 years. Regular challenge for domestic titles and European competition. Financial stability through smart transfers and academy development. A restored relationship between club, fans, and the broader football community. The fan perspective, why emotions matter. Supporters are not merely bystanders. They shape club identity. The call for immediate action, for sacking Rosenior and bringing in a familiar face,